February of this year, I collapsed midway through a track workout where me and my team were doing 400-meter repeats. By the fifth rep of this, my legs were hurting so badly that I couldn't stand upright and I was wobbling side to side. I collapsed on the side of the track. The coaches checked up on me, made sure I was okay. But afterwards, when the practice was over, they went up to me and told me bluntly, "You can't train with us no more. You have to go to a physio and see what's up, see what's wrong with your legs, because we can't train with you. We can't give you workouts if you can't run." So I listened to them. I went to the physio. I got myself checked up. After the full session, the physio looks me in the eyes and says, "You're not going to be able to run no more. Not until you do some physio. Hop onto some cross training because for the next few months, you got to stay completely off your feet when it comes to running." And hearing that, I get given like a workout plan. I look at it, I go home. On the way there, I'm just thinking, shoot, am I done with track? Because currently, when I got injured, I was in the indoor season. I was looking forward to competing, but that physio appointment basically just told me you're not competing at all. You're not showing up, you're not racing, you're out of it completely. For me, that was one of the biggest things that I wanted to do. I wanted to show up, I wanted to race with my teammates, with other people. I wanted to compete because that was my favorite part about track and field. And now that was taken away from me. I was just told that I couldn't do it. It hurt. But when I thought about it, when I sat at home and just thought, like, shoot, I can't do it no more, I realized I had two options from that point onwards. Because I could still show up to practices, I could still train. I had the option of getting a bike, training on the bike while my teammates ran around the track, just watching them. It wouldn't be fun. I would have to do my physio workouts. It'd be grueling day in, day out. And there was no shot I was coming back from indoor. But after that, for outdoor season, if I worked like a devil, if I made my physio a religion, I had a shot of competing. And as I was thinking about that, I felt an insane burst of motivation. I felt this idea that if I just committed to it, if I just did it, I could change my circumstance. I could change my reality to be what I wanted it to be. So I thought about it. I got motivated. I got excited. And I decided that I would do whatever it took to be consistent each and every single day to make my dreams a reality, to come back stronger than ever, to make a new record for my outdoor season. So it started February 22nd, 2024. I began my streak of consistency. For the first 2 months, it was awesome. I was completely consistent. There were no issues whatsoever. But past that point, I started feeling this sense of complacency where, hey, I don't really want to train today. I could skip. I could tell myself, I'll do it later. Yet something seemed wrong with that sort of mindset to me. Where prior to being consistent, I always had been motivated driven. Where I'd wait for this burst of motivation, this burst of energy to really do the thing that I was trying to do. To show up and do the work on a day I wanted to skip. To not eat the bad food, to stay clean, to sleep on time. It always came back to motivation, where I would make bad choices telling myself I wasn't motivated enough. That means I can do the bad habit. When it came to training for physio, when it came to training for track and field, I realized motivation was not an option. Because after about a month, 2 months of being consistent, it just goes away. There is no more motivation to just show up and be consistent. Sure, you can race, sure it feels good to be really fast, but every single day of greatness it takes to get there, every single day of work, of showing up, of doing what needs to be done, it's not fun. I'm not a master at this. I'm not saying I'm the greatest track and field athlete ever, but I feel like any other athlete would say the same thing. Where being consistent day in, day out, hopping on the bike, sweating my balls off every single workout, where I hop on the bike, I bike for about 60 to 90 minutes. By the end, my underwear is soaked, right? My pants and my shirt are sticking to my chest. There's sweat all over me. I stink and I feel disgusting. Doing that day in, day out for weeks on end, it hardened me mentally because from doing that, from continually just showing up, it felt so good. It felt like I was actually living up to being the person I knew I could be. And looking back on it, I think the biggest realization I have now is waiting for motivation to change your life, to be like to change your circumstance, to be the person you want to be. It's a dangerous way to live because it doesn't work. And let me explain. I don't think motivation is a bad thing. In fact, when I'm motivated to train, when I'm motivated to do my physio, hop on the bike, it's fun. It makes things easy. I enjoy it. But the thing about motivation is that comes in ebbs and flows. That there will be times where you feel like you're on top of the world. But then followed by that is going to be times where you cannot be bothered to get up and do the work at all. Where you don't want to show up and train. Where you want to skip, where you want to push it off to another day, to tomorrow. Yet, it can become a habit. Waiting for motivation, waiting for something to change your life, it conditions you to want things to be easy. Because when you are motivated, things are easy. There's no real self-discipline involved. But when motivation leaves, that's a true test of your character. Because in my case, I enjoyed biking. I enjoyed doing the physio. It was an action step for me. It was something new, something novel, where I was doing something to change my circumstance, something to improve. So for the first 2 months, I enjoyed it. But after that, it became a bit monotonous. Hopping on the bike every single day and just spinning on the same spot, watching people walk by me, being so sweaty I felt disgusting every single car ride home. It wasn't necessarily motivating to just show up every day. It was just habit at that point, where I wanted to tell myself, hey, I don't want to bike. I don't want to do the work today. I want to go home and just eat, not train. I want to run. I want to go on the track. I knew if I did any of those things, I would only be setting myself further steps back, where I'd be getting further away from the goal that I wanted to achieve, which was to train in the outdoor season. Right? I had a goal I was striving towards, and I knew what I needed to do. Motivation helped. Motivation was a bonus, but motivation was not the thing that made me settle down and actually lock in. Right? Don't be dependent on motivation, because motivation is like a quick fix. And I know this because I've tried to be motivated. Tried to be motivated to take action, to do other things, but motivation doesn't work. Action does. Right? If you treat motivation as a bonus, something nice that comes every once in a while focusing on the processes that will actually get you closer to your goal, motivation or not, you will find yourself getting so much closer to your goals every single day. That's how I approach track and field for myself. I'm not professional, I'm not perfect at it, but at least for me, I actually saw progress. Because by showing up, by disregarding motivation in my own life, throughout the indoor season from February to March, April, and May, I was just on the bike. I was just cross-training every day. But by the time May rolled around and outdoor season began, I was actually able to compete for the first time in over a year. Right? For the first time in about 2 years that I could actually compete with my feet on the ground and run on my spikes. It was all ahead of me. But when I started with that very first run, where I put myself out there, where I had done all the work, being motivated or not, it was all worth it in that moment. All the work, all the struggle, all the boredom, it was worth it. And for that, I regret nothing about going through the discipline of being unmotivated, of working even though I didn't feel like it, of pushing myself to be disciplined, to be the person I want to be, especially when I didn't feel like it. If anything, if you take anything away from this video, just treat motivation as a bonus. Focus on the process, focus on the actions that will get you closer to your goal. Because when you take action, it will inevitably just keep taking you forwards and forwards until you get out of that unmotivated cycle. Until you just keep taking action where you're not dependent on a quick fix, on something external to make you feel like doing the difficult things. It hardens you mentally, develops your discipline, and makes you a better individual. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you like this content. Peace.